Good evening. My name is Dan Frodan Cho, and welcome to the Wargaming.net League for North America. We're here to broadcast World of Tanks for you guys, and tonight is the round of 32 for our second qualifier to find out who will advance one step closer to get the inevitable last four coveted spots for the Wargaming.net League that begins on July 11th. Joining on the set with me is Andre Grietorp-Hengstraw, right to my right, in-house statistician, analyst, and former pro gamer. Andre, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be here, Dan.
And to my further right, we also have Joshua Clutch Gray, actor, host of Shifting Gears, as well as our telestrator and expert on the panel. Thank you, Josh, for joining us. And to my left, we also have our dedicated observer, Randall Rukil Holcomb, the former pro gamer from Simp, as well as second place runner-up at South by Southwest earlier this year. Randall, thank you so much for joining us as well. Now, again, we want to give you some background on what's going on with this league for those of you who might be tuning in for the first time. Tonight is just a qualifier to find out who's going to be joining us on the 16 teams for the inevitable Wargaming.net League of North America. That means that we're going to have 16 teams competing for a $100,000 prize pool, culminating in the finals for Las Vegas, Nevada on August 17th and 18th. And Andre, that's a lot of money. And these qualifiers tonight, everything matters because it's single elimination. How does this tournament work?
Well, I'm just blanking right now. This tournament works in a way where the qualifiers are going to seed four teams from each of them. They're going to qualify through the open tournament. 8 teams have already been seeded through. There was a previous tournament that kind of discriminated that
Major
before.
League Championship Series, which included teams like Fulcrum, Simp, Wreak Havoc, Turtle Police, Mop 4, Simple Tankers, Strike. The list is all on our website, WGLNA.com. But Andre, please continue.
That's right. 3 weeks of league play matches. These teams will play each other out, and then there will be top teams that go over to Las Vegas. They'll be flown over to compete for that $100,000 prize pool. Now remember, this isn't just $100,000 a year. This is just a single season. There are multiple seasons in a year. That's a lot of money to be won by professional gamers.
That's right. And some of these teams that we're seeing tonight, we're going to have 3 matches, have already played in the first qualifier. In fact, let's break down the list of what we'll be seeing tonight. We're going to have Bear Huggers versus War and Peace as our 6 p.m. match. We'll have Catfast Nation versus Peru Apis as our second, and Ermagerd Kernavern, a team that we thought were going to get through the first qualifier, is now showed back up versus Boss Gaming. That should be at 8 o'clock. But of course, we do want to emphasize this is live. So we are waiting for War and Peace to fully show up here with their lineup so that we can get ready for our first game. So let's go ahead and even explain, because we do realize that we are a broadcast organization most only for StarCraft, so we might have some new viewers for the first time. So let's go ahead and explain it. Clutch, what is World of Tanks?
World of Tanks is one of the biggest games in the world right now. Over 60 million users play this game in over 200 countries, and it is free to play, which is huge. The free-to-play market has expanded so much the last number of years, and for this game to be so big, it's a testament of how fun it is. World of Tanks, pretty much jump into a tank and blow stuff up. Now, in the public type of play style, it's 15. That's how I play too. I try not to get blown up myself. In the public type of play style, it's 15 on 15. And when you first get into World of Tanks, there's a lot of information off the bat that you're like, whoa, man, where do I start? Well, of course, start with the tutorial. And then from there, make a goal. Which tech tree do you want to go down? Which nation do you want to play for? You have United States, China, USSR, Germany, Great Britain. So you have different tanks you can choose, France as well. I chose America because I love freedom. America.
You're a military man from America.
That's right. That's right. And I decided to go down the path that got me to the M4 Sherman, later on the T-32, and I'm still working on the M103 and then the E5. So because I have that progression path, I have a set goal for myself, and that's what keeps me going to play more and more. A great thing about this game is it rewards progression. And you guys can start playing today if you want.
That's right. If any gamers are compulsive, addictive, MMO-type people, you certainly like World of Tanks, especially because it's armored vehicle warfare. We get to see stuff blown up, and who doesn't love that? Do want to kind of emphasize and jump off of your point, Clutch. If you are grinding down the tech tree and you're having a little bit of trouble, something that will help you is gold, as well as premium. And throughout our broadcast, we'll be giving out free premium for a week, as well as 2,000 gold. Andre, how can they win it?
They can do it by tweeting at us, Facebooking us, anything in the social media area. You can go over to twitter.com/WGLNA. Tweet at us, pictures, tweet at us your favorite moments from tonight, and we're going to pick out some winners. Also go to our Facebook, facebook.com/WGLNA. And while I'm at it, youtube.com/WGLNA. That's where you can find all the VODs in 1080p quality, in real, true 1080p.
That's right. Full high definition is how we roll. Only the highest quality for our viewers. So why don't we take a quick commercial break and get ready for our first match of the day, War and Peace versus Bear Huggers. Hopefully everyone will get settled. You're watching WGLNA qualifier number 2, day number 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to WGLNA day number 2 of qualifier number 2, where we're getting ready to get into our first match of the round of 32. That's a lot of twos in one opening statement. Now, guys, I want to again re-emphasize that tonight is a lot of fun because it's the qualifiers to find out who can get through into our league. It's a completely open qualifier. I mean, we have every kind of players inside the league. We have young college students who are trying to find their way into esports for the first time. We have established veterans, people who are firefighters or even former soldiers playing in this league, so it's very exciting to see. Our first match is some veterans that have been around in the pro scene for a while. Bear Huggers versus War and Peace. What's your initial thoughts on it? Dutch, we'll start with you.
War and Peace is a team that I've heard some significant rumors about of how good they do. Bear Huggers is one I think I've heard Rukil mention a couple times here, but still I've yet to see them actually perform on the battlefield, let alone against each other also in the past. Now, as you mentioned before, we had qualifier number 1 that happened. And any team that was not able to make it through qualifier number 1 will be able to make it to qualifier number 2. So you have 2 chances via single elimination brackets to make it into league play. 8 teams have already been invited. 4 qualified from qualifier number 1. That was that was River of Blood, Cazadores, Cunningham's, which formerly known as Morgolds, and Scurry Hard. So there's anything that we have known or that we have seen from 2 weeks ago, this is still anybody's game. And these teams know this is their last chance to make it into season number 1, because if they get eliminated, they're going to have to wait till season number 2. If I wanted to make a prediction, I'm going to have to say War and Peace is going to take it 3-1. But I could be pleasantly surprised. So we'll
Andre, you've had the chance to cast War and Peace last week. What was your opinion on their play, and how do you think they're going to take up against these guys who are part of the Red Sky clan?
Yeah, definitely a good team, and of course, I've actually been able to brawl a little bit with the Red Sky clan in regular pubbies. Yeah, I meet up with them. Actually, me and you met up with Soviet and
Friction
a couple,
and Hugo Maximus.
Yeah.
They carried us pretty well. Thank you very much for some free credits and experience, guys.
Thanks, guys. But no, I can definitely say that they're a very reputable clan. I don't know how to predict this, honestly. Both teams, I think, have a lot of potential, and we'll see what the cards show.
The first map on Ensk has already begun to load, so let's get ready to our first battle for this qualifier day number 2, match number 1. All right, welcome to Ensk. Sort of a hybrid map. Clutch, what do we see on the mini-map already for our first movement patterns?
Well, on the mini-map right now, we see the blue team moving a little bit more towards the west side, but at the same time, to the north side, red team going to be taking that western approach. Blue team actually going to be heading back towards the east at this time. And it looks like they're going to be more aggressive. I actually am very surprised by the aggressive movement here, but they see no scouting tanks trying to stop any of those heavies moving in, and they can get some really, really good shots coming across on this side from this type of flanking maneuver. If he's able to move in quick enough, he will be able to get some side shots there, Frodan.
I do want to clarify that red team is War and Peace. They only have 5 members, but that is within a lot of rules. And with the 7 players on blue team, that is Bear Huggers, and that's a pretty significant advantage, isn't it, Greetorp?
Yeah, it is. I mean, what that really says is they will not be able to strike first. They're not going to be the ones that really dictate the first couple of shots. That's why they're going in with those IS-3s, because they know they can be blown up pretty easily. And if one of their tanks dies really quickly, that's a bad time. So they're going to lead with those, most likely the KV-5, which makes a lot of sense now. Or excuse me, not the KV-5, the IS-3s, and then, of course, the AMX 50-100 behind that.
You see the initial cap attempt, a cap fast here from War and Peace. Big Daddy trying to get good resets, but Torval putting good shots from his T-69. And looks like War and Peace trying to make this one end quickly, isn't it, Clutch?
Yeah, they definitely want to push in here. They know they already have the advantage of the 7 against 5. It is unfortunate 2 people were able to show up here. Following Rodney Dangerfield, great comedian, also great tanker, while Steg takes the kill, and he's just going to hold back and continue to fire in his AMX 5100.
Here we go, though. Keep in mind that KV5 is moving into a fantastic position, and what's going to happen as soon as he comes in, he's going to force all those nozzles to move over. That's going to be a huge push by everybody else to really get in there to make sure that getting all of those hit points, soaking it all up, is going to be worth something. And we really, really need a movement. But red base is captured.
Yep, the T1s have already initiated the counter cap, saying 5 on 5 on our base while we put the time on the clock. And just like that, game number 1 goes to Bear Huggers after doing some great maneuvers and just pretty basic tactics, 7 versus 5, and be able to put on pressure. And that's kind of disadvantage. But we'd want War and Peace to be able to play, and it is within our rule set, so we do want to emphasize that this is a fair match by all means.
And War and Peace did try to put pressure of their own. I mean, if they maybe gotten there a little bit quicker, it would have been a different call.
Yeah.
Now, in a normal 7-on-7 match, I would have thought, wow, they're really aggressive. But because it's a 7-on-5, that explains a lot of the aggression. Obviously, they have more damage per minute with more tanks.
And god dang it, I derped so hard right there. I thought for sure everybody was going to surround them and kill them because nobody was lit up for the most part. There were a couple tanks lit up all over the place, but nobody really lit up for sure. So just coming in from War and Peace's side, they had no clue what was going on. They knew they were being capped, of course, but they were pinned pretty hard because they felt like there was a lot of pressure on them. I felt like they had a lot of pressure on them. Turns out they didn't.
Absolutely, absolutely. So while you could look at the stat screen and you could see, wow, really great job damage-wise, relatively speaking, for War and Peace. They just didn't have enough to stop anybody back at home. We'll find out what's going to happen in battle number 2. Maybe some more members of War and Peace show up and they can have a 7-on-7, or maybe they can actually create an upset 5 versus 7. We'll find out right after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to Wargaming.net League North America Qualifier number 2, day number 2, match number 1. We're just in the middle of a series between War and Peace and Bear Huggers, where Bear Huggers was able to basically out-cap fast the cap fast attempt from War and Peace. Clutch, what happened that game for anybody just tuning in?
It was just a straight-on aggression from Bear Huggers. Because it's 7 versus 5, Bear Huggers has the advantage already with 2 more tanks. And they completely just went down the one line, decided to move all the way to the east on that side, and was able to move over. Or at least they went down all the way down on the west side and then moved eastward. It's kind of disheartening a little bit, honestly, to not have all 7 tankers here. I'm still going to stick with my prediction, though. War and Peace probably still could take it 3-1.
I should have taken some odds on that. You said 3-1 War and Peace, but I'm like, they're fighting 5-on-7. Man, I could have got some easy money.
They could do it. I still believe. I still believe.
We just Clutch like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and Clutch is like playing on War and Peace's team. It's like, Clutch 08.
If I could join him, I would, but no, we got to stick to the rules.
Don't think that's gonna happen.
It is unfortunate, but both teams agreed to play, and so it's better than a walkover. At least they're gonna fight for it.
All right, so map number 2 will be Himmelsdorf, another city map, but this one's full-on city with a lot of features on it. So I guess we can get ready to telestrate a little bit. Let's go even into. Oh, actually, we can telestrate right now.
Yeah, we can, man.
Let's keep in mind, too, that they are 5v7, so how is that going to influence their playstyle? Obviously, they tried to cap really fast. They're going to lose like that every single time because they're going to be counter-capped. How can they play a little bit differently, Clutch, to kind of feature their disadvantage?
Okay, so let's go with 5 heavy tanks off the bat. They could all take the hill. However, if they did do this, it's going to leave them a little bit open completely with this type of play, and that's not exactly what they want at all.
Yeah.
Now, taking the hill obviously is going to leave them open. This entire section can be completely swamped by the blue team moving in with that same aggression going down the western flank. However, what they could do is use this G line to their advantage. So if they decided to move up to this section and hold the G line, they could try to counter any type of pushes on both sides if the blue team decided to go down tank alley in this section and try to do any damage they could. If they were able to knock down 2 tanks initially and then it's just a 5-on-5 straight up brawl between all heavy tanks, that could be a viable option. However, with the patience necessary to pull this off and also to do it at the right time, we could see them wait until the 5-minute mark before they do that, or the blue team could simply just push the train station all the way from this side and then push in.
That's right.
And whop up.
I mean, really, the blue team has 2 different options. Blue team, of course, being Bear Huggers. They can take east control or west control, knowing that War and Peace really cannot commit to those areas, because if they do, there's going to be, or there could be, a counter cap, and obviously they're in a bad position. They're going into a defensive position, even though it's not really, you know, it's always going to be a bad engagement for them. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're going to be looking probably to see War and Peace, just as you said, on that G line, really, really defensive. The real thing we want to look at is how does Bear Huggers continue their advantage? How do they orchestrate their attack to where they're always getting a big advantage?
Well, one thing Bear Huggers has to do right now is they cannot be overconfident, because that could completely sway over into War and Peace.
Yeah, remember, it's 2 points. Yes, it's an extra 2 tanks, but it's only 2 points. So it's easily, you know, if I kill all 5 tanks and with my 5 tanks, your tier 1s really aren't going to do anything to me if I'm running AMX or non-AMX 5100s or 1390s.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the strategy War and Peace has to choose with their 5 tanks to go 5 heavies. There's no other reason not to, especially on a city map.
Some beautiful shots of Himmelsdorf, no bias. I did those opening shots, by the way, free camo. Thanks to Nagatron and Colby for setting us up with the UI as well. Very beautiful. As you can see, the red team, War and Peace, already splitting up, and Bear Huggers, the blue team on the south side. Well, I don't actually see him on my screen, so we'll have to see it on the mini-map. Clutch, what's going on over on blue team?
Well, it looks like the blue side is going to take the western quadrant of this map right now. The same for the red, except one is staying towards the D line up in that section here. Now, the scout has been able to pinpoint where the T-69 is, knowing that, okay, Tank Alley has been locked down, at least with that autoloader. And also the heavy tanks have been scouted on the side of both the blue team and the red team. So Bear Huggers and War and Peace both know they got heavy tanks on the western side, a little bit south of the train depot, and then in that G3 section at this moment.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense for War and Peace. As you can see, they're standing right in the center, putting 3 tanks all the way on the western side in that 3 file. Of course, they do that because the opening is slightly bigger than over on the 7 line. The 7 line also has obstructions, little sand, dirts, and things like that where you can be held up. So that's why you mainly only keep 1 tank over there or a couple tanks over there, and make sure they're not aggressing up too much, but committing all your defense to that 3rd line.
That's right. The position that Herbal Thrills in, as you can see on Randall's screen towards the bottom half there, it's a nice position. That's one of the first positions I learned on Himmelsdorf in order to get a nice hold-down spot. IS-3 with that pike nose, be able to hopefully get some ricochets. And they did get the first shot on static, the KV-5, essentially nullifying that HP advantage. Very nice opening from War and Peace.
Yeah, he's currently at 1389 after out of 1780. So still an HP tank. He can still go to the bank with that. But like you said, Frodan, a little bit of a poke, showing that War and Peace still has bite. And I think that's going to tone down a bit of that aggression on the side of Bear Huggers.
I think so. You can see they're kind of backing up all the way. They're rethinking their strategy at this point. They understand where the 5 tanks are and how they're spread out. And now they're saying, how do we isolate? How do we get into a position where it's 2v5? And even if it's 2v5 for 10 seconds or 15 seconds, that's still enough time to take an advantage and really exploit the weaknesses, which is having 2 less tanks, 2 less eyes on the field. That is, of course, from War and Peace. T-69 going to shell out a couple shots on that T1, but not going to connect with any of those. But as you can see, the same positions have been kept. KV-5 is spotted all the way across map. But on the mini-map, that's the important thing. You can see every single tank, or most of the tanks, are being circulated all the way over to that castle, all the way up there.
Now it's going to be a push right now on the side of Bear Huggers as they're going to take the hill. It's going to be a little bit of a climb for all these AMX 5100s, but it will be an aggressive assault now, and changing up, as you guys said, kind of halfway through the match here at 6 minutes and 36 seconds. This might catch War and Peace off guard, because currently their positioning is not be able to see any of these tanks moving up the hill because they have no light tanks. They have no position at the bottom of the hill.
That's right.
And that castle and that higher ground is not going to indicate to the people down below.
And Clutch, how much sense does this make? It's beautiful play by Bear Huggers. They understand we're going to keep this KV-5 here. and we're gonna, oh no, you spotted us. Wrong, we want you to spot us, because they think, okay, the KV-5 is there, all the tanks are gonna be there, when realistically, they're preparing for a gigantic flank. I love this play. Couple of mind games coming in here. Of course, the KV-5 can be just completely overwhelmed. 3 tanks against 1, but they're not going to do that until it's too late.
That's right, it's the calm before the storm, getting ready to see what's going to happen pretty soon if War and Peace gets caught out of position, particularly Torvald and Patrial. If both of those IS-3 and the T-69 gets dropped quickly by the 6 auto-loader AMX 5100s. There's 4 of them, 300 damage a pop. That's a lot of damage, Clutch.
That is a lot of damage. But again, too, knowing when to attack, when to unload on the AMX 5100s is part of the strategy when choosing that tank, because it has such a long reload time. And as these AMX 50s are getting set up here around the corner, Rodney Dangerfield is going to actually push in the front. He's going to push around this corner to see if he's able to spot anything. If he doesn't, I think they're going to go ahead and break away into a flag capture.
War and Peace already smells something pretty fishy, and they see Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay. That's cool. So there's going to be repositioning. They don't know if it's just 1 tank or 2 tanks or 3 tanks, whatever it might be. And there it is. 3 tanks are spotted. And this IS-3 is in a little bit of trouble, but oh my god, they're just going for it. They're blitzing.
Frizzle getting the first shots on Torvald with getting some reinforcement. Nigel trying to pressure in. Rodney may go for the finishing blow, and every tank that drops for War and Peace is a 20% deficit of their 5-man roster. Patrial trying to retreat and get a good position. He does get 1 ricochet, but it doesn't even matter because there's so many bullets from these AMX 5100s. They're not running out of ammo anytime soon.
No, they aren't. Really, really well done here. And you can see the 3 other tanks, Spirit, Barracuda, and Herbal, are just scrambling right now. They're trying to get back to do some sort of damage to those AMX 5000s as they are starting to clip. But it's just way too much time spent on moving rather than, of course, doing damage. They can't do enough. Herbal Thrill is going to line up some shots, but oh, he gets ammo racked. Really unfortunate.
Oh, ammo rack is huge, going to make reload times really inefficient, and that is so significant considering how much damage has been spread across Bear Huggers. The more shots you can get, the higher chance you have to hold. The Herbal Throw trying to round the corner, and Spirit and 8 with Spirit AW backing him up. Meanwhile, though, I can't really see the blue team. What's going on over there, Clutch?
They're trying to reposition themselves. They have one of the KV-5s that's actually kind of far away from the rest of his team. Not going to be much use, even when trying to flank if anybody tries to push in. Nigel 5-6-1 moving back. Rodney Dangerfield under a lot of shots here, and he goes down. So still War and Peace is digging in with those IS-3s.
That's right. I mean, this is the critical time where they are weakest. There are a lot of people, as I said, are clipping. Probably not anymore, but they need that KV-5 in there because you still can't do a 4v5 even with fantastic position. That's a lot of HP that you still have to kill. And you can see the IS-3 MX 5100 are pretty much the only one left, at least, you know, together. They're still trying to get together, but it's hard for them. They keep getting isolated and picked off.
Meanwhile, red base is being captured. We see that Herbal Throw has been dropped by Riders as he was able to finish it. Spirit trying to get a good shot, but here comes Static with the flank, and he does finish it off, leaving Barracuda, the last member of War and Peace. He needs to do something to stop it. We've seen big plays on Himmelsdorf with the IS-3 from Armor in the previous qualifier.
Oh,
can he make another miracle happen?
And look at this. They didn't crush the initial destructible structures over there. So he's going to have to waste a shell if he wants to hit that KV-5. If they just killed it in the beginning, they would not have this problem. The KV-5 would have been reset, and he would have been one shot away from dying too if he penned there. But unfortunately, Barracuda, now he has a really tough situation where, what do I really shoot? You're going to shoot the destructible debris. Not going to be too helpful. Of course, he needs another shot to actually pen them and reset the cap.
That's why you're always Matt Damon, as far as I'm concerned. Always try to get the shots off. Flanks from the T1 Cunningham. Jixon saying, I'm also relevant in this fight. Trying to see if he can annoy Barracuda as well as get a good spot. Static is pretty weak, and that can give Barracuda the kill, but overall, still Bear Huggers has a dominant position. And it does get the shot, but he doesn't go for Static. Instead, he goes for Riders.
Yeah, he went for Riders to try to stop that DPM coming at him, but it's too late. He tried to stop the team that could, or the tank that could do more damage against him, and it was a worthy effort, honestly.
It was, absolutely.
It was a worthy effort.
Bigger threat has been eliminated, but in the end, he was the last man standing. Bear Huggers takes the game. or takes the battle rather, now goes up 2-0 in this best of 5. Guys, any closing thoughts before we head
No,
off to
really
this break?
clever play. I love the thought process of keeping the KV5 there. Seems really silly. Why are you keeping the KV5 all the way out in the open alone? It's because you're playing mind games.
Do have to kind of commend Spirit as well as Herbal Thrill for being able to hold their position as long as they did. Granted that they were flanked by 4 AMX 5100s, absolutely well done, and being able to show some fight despite playing 5 versus 7.
It's the strength of the IS-3s. That's why the pros use them, and that's why you guys watch this to show how to properly use these tanks in pub play.
That's right. So we'll talk more about that when we come back from a commercial break and get ready for battle number 3. This is WGLNA qualifier number 2, match number 1. We'll be right back.